This is a no BS, no frills video about the new Archer Commander, Gilgamesh, and we're going to be showing you open field testing results in a controlled environment, so stick around to see exactly why our prediction that Gilgamesh would be meta is correct. Hello my friends and welcome back, I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in this video we're going to be talking about why Gilgamesh is absolutely phenomenal, not with theories, not with anecdotal evidence, but real controlled environment battle reports. What does that mean? These are tests performed in Ark of Osiris. That's an important distinction because sure, there are some slightly different buffs that you get for being in Ark of Osiris, but I think it's a pretty good representation of how they perform in reality. And in addition, these tests were done with no city skin, no equipment, no buff token. It's got a fully level playing field. The commander tab was cleared out. So you know there's no things in here that are going to mess up the test results. This is 100% legit. And by the way, we have also both used the same civilization, that is Germany. Okay, so she doesn't have the special unit, that Stinks, who's got the max Gilgamesh. I don't have a special unit in a lot of these battle reports, but when I do, I still lose, which is insane. So, I mean, let's get right into the good stuff, shall we? I'm going to flash up onto the screen very briefly the talents for Gilgamesh, and the talents for Ramses, and the talents for Nebu, which is what Stinks was using for her commanders, and you can get a sense of what those talents look like. I'll also flash the talents on the screen for my commanders as we go here, in case people want to see what I was using. Now, the first thing we tested for open field was to just figure out which Gilgamesh combo is the best, and we tested against Guan Leo, the premium infantry open field march. And you really would expect the infantry to lose to archers. That was the case when we battled against Gilgamesh Esong in this first battle. That was not the case when we used Ramses paired with Gilgamesh. That's 29,000 sevs to 30. And when we switch things up to Gilgamesh Nebu, the archers still lost. So Guan Leo are just absolutely monsters. That's just a thing that's always been true. And we reran the test with Esong because, look, let me tell you something. You see one battle report and you have no clue what you're looking at. Randomness plays a big role in this game. So I just want to mention that it's important that you look at multiple test results to actually know you're looking at something valid. Otherwise, you have no clue. We ran the Esong again because we thought, man, maybe this is the best pair. Is it really Gilgamesh Esong? And this time around, the Gilgamesh lost by not a small margin, 25,000 to 31,000, almost 32,000. Okay, so that was a negative trade for the Gilgamesh. Then we ran Guan Leo against Gilgamesh Ramses. And Gilgamesh Ramses is where we landed, by the way, as the best archer combo to run with Gilgamesh. We didn't have Osiris to test with. I just want to point that out. Otherwise, we thought, man, this performed really well all throughout the remainder of the tests. So Gilgamesh Ramses, the Gilgamesh took 27,000 to the 30,000 on the Guan Yu Leo. And pretty sure we ran that back again and got the same result, 26,000 to 30,500, just about. So this is the Guan Leo is losing. And in the next test, we switched things up and thought, like, well, does Ramses Gilgamesh just switch the order? Does that work well? And the answer was that it does, but perhaps not quite as well, or we couldn't really maybe differentiate between that and randomness. We got about 30,000 savs for the Gilgamesh March to the 32 for my Guan Leo. So we landed on this Gilgamesh Ramses combo being just really strong. And of course, it is doing single target damage and single target debuffs. You would expect it to be very strong, right? And unlike other marches, which do area of effect damage, the way that a march like this contributes to a team fight is that it is reducing the health of the target and the defense of the target and making it take more skill damage. Those are three very powerful effects that, although it's not the same as AoE damage, they're still really good. Now here, you can see that we started to bring some cavalry to see if the Cavs could get the job done. And Saladin William against Gilgamesh Ramses did in fact perform well. There's 26,000 sevs just about for the Saladin William to the 33,000 for the Gilgamesh Ramses. And you would expect this. I'm a Cav civilization. And we know from my previous video, I'll have a card up in the top, that the civilization can swing a result by like 3 or 4,000 sev wounds, not to include a city skin even, by the way. So a city skin would swing it even more, but that's not what we're using here. Nobody's got a city skin. We took our city skins off. This report would have been closer for sure if it had been not the special unit. I'm using the Germany special unit, which gives me some extra stats too. So then we ran another test here, Gilgamesh Ramses, and like, yeah, Cavs beat archers. This is not too surprising, right? 24,600 to 34,700 is a pretty impressive win for the Saladin William. But trust me, the Gilgamesh Ramses is going to be really impressive in a lot of these reports. Here's another one where we busted out Attila Takeda, and I probably need to show some of these battles on screen now, and I'll edit in some footage so that you can watch what happens here. But the thing that's so insane about Gilgamesh's blood-craving debuff, especially when paired with Ramses, is that not only can Ramses cut the healing to 0, but it still counts as having healed, which means blood craving will do damage. But not only that, but every tick that Takeda heals, you take blood craving damage. It's disgusting. So you can see a little bit of that happening in the video that I'm putting on the screen, I'm sure. It was absolutely gross. 36,000 sevs for the Attila Takeda, and they lost to the almost 39,000 for the Gilgamesh Ramses. You know, the thing that's crazy about Attila Takeda is that even when they lose, they seem to trade positive, which is what happened here. So it does very well for being archers against cavalry with the special unit and civilization bonus that I had. It's still pretty impressive, but technically, like, lost the trade. When we ran that again, it lost the trade by even more. This is one of many reasons why you can't look at one battle report for a combo and draw conclusions. So this report got a little bit worse. But again, the fact that these archers are doing decently against Attila Takeda, and, by the way, beating the march, which is weird, but having a worse trade is still very interesting. And then I wanted to switch things up a little bit and bring a healing march that was not Attila Takeda. Alexander the Great and Richard I. Now, look, early game, amazing. Late game, not so great. And in the Gilgamesh meta, it's pretty bad. 29,500 for the Alex and Richard, and 17,900 for the Gilgamesh Ramses. That's a tough one. That's a tough pill to swallow. Okay, we ran Alex Harald, which got beaten but not demolished, about 27,000 sevs to 21,000 sevs in favor of the Gilgamesh Ramses. I tried to bring some archers, Ramses Nebu versus Gilgamesh Ramses, and that did not go well. About 26.5 to about 22,000 sev wounds. And I'm sort of rounding, but the Gilgamesh Ramses was victorious. We ran another combo here, Nebu and Ramses against Gilgamesh Ramses, 27,000 to 20,000 in favor of the Gilgamesh, so that's pretty impressive. I busted out Pakal and Harald for memes, and I have to say, the thing that's so insane about archers is that every archer commander that comes out is good at multiple things, whereas all the infantry commanders and cavalry commanders like often only do one thing. With the exception maybe of like XY and Chandra are pretty decent in the field as well. But like Pakal only is good for rallies. And guess what? He gets dunked in the field like crazy. So 34,700 sevs to the 17,000 sevs of the Gilgamesh Ramses. And a part of that is because I'm using a build that does healing on Pakal, which just gets completely wrecked over here. But if we just talk about archers, we know Gilgamesh is probably going to be rally and field. Insane. You can use them for both. Nebu, rally and field. Insane. So much utility. Artemisia, field, garrison. Insane. They do two things, right? You look at a Minotaure, who's probably going to be field and garrison. Two things. Insane. Then you look at like Zenobia, only garrison. I'm not saying she should do more than just garrison because she's really good there, but I'm just pointing out that a lot of these commanders that arrive for other unit types can only do one thing, and that's it. And all these archer commanders just seem to be insane for so many things that, like, they're very strong. I busted out a unmaxed Cyrus and Ramses just to see how that would do against Gilgamesh and Ramses, because Cyrus does so much single target good stuff, so does Ramses. And I lost by a lot, 29,000 to 20,000. And you can see my Cyrus is almost maxed, but not maxed. I'm missing 2 skills at the very tail end on the 4th skill there. When we go to the next report, I tried Saladin Jadwiga. It did not go well. About 28,000 to like 21,500 in favor of the Gilgamesh again. Keep in mind, this is cavalry against archers. You would expect cavalry to win, and I had the special unit. I had the civilization bonus. Insane. I brought out my unmaxed XY William. It's not maxed. I get it. 26,000 to 22,500 in favor of the Gilgamesh Ramses again. And, you know, look, I got a 5-5-2-1 XY. I get that a maxed XY would be a different ball game, but I just wanted to show this anyways. I brought out Saladin Khan, which actually didn't do terrible, but didn't do great. 27.5 to 25.5, just about, in favor of the Gilgamesh Ramses. Then, in the next report, I brought out Saladin Takeda just to show how bad this would be. It wasn't actually as bad as I thought, but 32,000 to 25.5 in favor of the Gilgamesh Ramses yet again. Then, we've got a Trajan test. Now, look, Trajan is not designed for this. He's buffing everybody. But if he does well, or decently, or even okay in this matchup, like he's kind of amazing in the field, well, this just goes really poorly. 33.5 to 16.5 in favor of the Gilgamesh Ramses. Obviously, a lot of what they're doing here with the Trajan Harald is buffing other marches and punishing if you swarm the Trajan. So, yeah, this did not do well. I wouldn't have expected it to do terribly well. But again, as I was saying, if it can do well in this situation, then it's just God tier when you're buffing other marches too. Then I busted out a tried and true archer combo, the Ramses with Esong, right? Classic. A lot of people use it for the tankiness of the Ramses. You want to hide the Esong behind it because people see an Esong. It's like a magnet. They swarm it out. But nope, 27.5 to 23, again in favor of the Gilgamesh Ramses. And last but not least, Nebu Esong is a march that I love for the field. It does a ton of AoE. Against the Gilgamesh Ramses, that's a 28 to 22 trade. So 6,000 in favor of the Gilgamesh Ramses. All this to say, the Gilgamesh Ramses was beatable. There were cavalry combos, the Saladin William, namely, the march that I do use in the field, did beat it. But when you look at the utility that the Gilgamesh Ramses is bringing, reducing the health of the target by 30%, and reducing the defense by 30%, and also making it so they take 15% more skill damage. I mean, there is a lot of utility there. And sure, like Saladin is cutting healing and slowing, and William is removing bonus damage, which is nice, right? It's just a very oppressive march in this Gilgamesh Ramses combo. I'm going to maintain my stance that especially if you're not using Ethelfled, that Gilgamesh belongs in your starting 5 marches if you're bringing 5 marches to the battlefield. I think Gilgamesh is looking very, very strong, a commander worthy of maxing, and, you know, okay, he doesn't have AoE, which is true, but if I just show you the builds I was using on my other commanders, just to thread the needle on that real quick, here is the Saladin build that I was using for all the testing. I put my equipment back onto a bunch of these commanders, by the way, but it was off for the testing. Here is the Alexander the Great open field build that I was using. We show the next build here. This is a city rallying build that I was using on Attila. So Attila Takeda could perform better than we advertised here. So Attila Takeda are still strong, although, man, was just amazing to see that skill damage taken every time Takeda healed. It was pretty gross. We go to the next commander here. This is an open field march speed focused Quan build, which I've really enjoyed using. And here is the Ramses build that we were using for this testing. It does have Razor Sharp. Then I'll show you real quick the Cyrus build that we were using for testing here. This is using the Clarity focused build in the Archer and Skill combo. And then the Nebu build is here. The Trajan build is really solid. Here it is. I've used this a lot. And the final build that, there's actually a couple builds I need to show you. Here's the XY build I was using, a rage-focused build. And now we're on last but not least, is the Pakal build the Desperate Elegy rally build that I was using for field as well. And like, man, it just got completely freaking wrecked. So again, I think Gilgamesh is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I think that archers are insane, as I was describing earlier. It's just incredible to me how many archers are good for so long in the game and how many archers are useful for so many things, right? It's just so unusual. Like, Guan is good in field, but that's all he's good for, and really all he's ever been very good at. You've got commanders like Ramses, rally and field, right? It's just so many of these archer commanders do so much. It's honestly astonishing. More players probably should switch to be archer-focused players. And I don't know, man. It could be that your murder ball in a perfect world maybe needs to move in the direction of being Trajan with Esong, Guan, Leo, XY, or Saladin with William, and then like 2 archer marches like Gilgamesh and Nebu, and then your second march would be Amanatori with Artemisia. I don't know. That combo could be insane. And if you want to see exactly how insane that combo is, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss when we make a video showcasing exactly how good they are, not with anecdotal evidence, not with somebody else's rally reports, but with actual controlled environment testing, so you know what you're looking at is actually pretty freaking accurate. If you found this video helpful, throw a like on here. Again, subscribe. I'll be spinning the wheel for Gilgamesh tonight, not once, but twice, once before reset and once after. You're not going to want to miss it. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. And thanks again to Stinks for doing this testing with me. I really appreciate it.